10 years from now, you're going to see two different types of people. You're going to see some people who saw the economic slowdown and wished they would have sacrificed more to seize the opportunity. And then you're going to see some people who actually became wealthy because of it.
What's good, everybody? This is your boy, Reckless Ray Dinero, signing on to have some serious conversations over here on Future Financial Strategies. Shout out to Minority Mindset. We're gonna start these off moving forward. I think I'm gonna start tapping in with some shorts to set the tone for the video. And over here in our tribe, in our pack, in our coalition, in our congregation, in our team, we're going to be the second type of people. That's what we're working at. We're looking at what's going on in the world, and as the video thumbnail is titled, Us versus Them, we have to clearly define who they are. We have to clearly define where we are on the board, what our position is, and what options we have. Now, that part is going to be different per individual situation because we all don't have the same job, we all don't have the same income. It's a quality of opportunity, not a quality of outcome. So we can be on different parts of the same race at different levels, at different segments, and still be working together so that everyone is moving forward. And that's the main thing that I'm looking at here is to get everyone to move forward from where they're at. I'm not trying to get you to move forward from where I'm at. I'm trying to get you to move forward from where you're at. But in all of these situations that I've seen, like you take back the 2008, I was looking around with googly eyes, not understanding because the 2008 financial crisis really didn't affect me. I didn't lose my job. My income did not get cut. As far as my life at that point in time, I wasn't affected, but I also didn't capitalize because I wasn't affected directly. So I don't have a 2008 horror story. I just know what happened. I saw what happened. Like I saw it happening to other people, but it wasn't happening to me, so I didn't really care. Like I wasn't perspicacious during that time period. Like I didn't see any opportunities. I didn't capitalize on any opportunities. I wasn't looking for any opportunities. I was making as much money as I could to go to the club and blow it. So wasted opportunity of wealth transfer. This time around, the eyes are open. I am looking. I am capitalizing. I am actively capitalizing on everything that I can. Like I'm also still making as much money as possible and doing smart things with the money, but like now I'm looking and I'm like, oh geez, stuff is going on. So we're gonna get into the stuff is going on, which will be this one: Brazil and China strike a trade deal to and agree to ditch the dollar. Now there's been oh well, these dudes need to be quiet. No, this is this is gonna be this is a big deal. Like we're starting to see these shifts happen. And as Americans, we're in our bubble. We're distracted with Rihanna's dress or whatever, anyone, Russell Wilson, whoever, what people are wearing to the Oscars. Meanwhile, the world, as far as we know it, is literally collapsing around us from a financial sense. This war has already started. The war with China and Russia has already started. The issue is Russia and China specifically are not shooting bullets at us. They are attacking the money because they know how to strike deep. Having a little war where we send all the pawns in there and they duke it out, that's going to be over. They're going for total destruction now. They're building a new economic system that's barring out the US. This is going to be a problem. This is something very problematic. This is something that even our, and our government isn't doing. Like Our government wants to spend billions of dollars on more planes, tanks, and troops. And these guys are making global moves and putting infrastructure around the planet. And we're trying to buy guns. If this isn't the definition of the American arrogance, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. And this isn't the only deal. Russia has also turned to China to ditch the dollar. So if you got these countries coalescing up together to move out of the dollar and we're not included in the conversation, that's not good. Also, most of our stuff comes from China. Like what happens when there's no new TVs? There's no computers. There's no cars. Again, most of our stuff comes from China. There's no home automation products. Like I'm already seeing that in the business field that I'm in. Parts have slowed crazy down. They're building one thing at a time and then shipping that one thing at that time. What happens if they decide, like, hey, we're just not sending you anything? What then? Where do things... Like, I don't think people understand the grinding halt that our daily lives as Americans will come to in a financial war with China, specifically. Russia also, because they've got a lot of... Like, we get a lot of their oil, and we do not utilize the oil that we pump here for here. Like, this, depending on how nasty this gets, this could get real serious. Like, they talking about buying planes. How are they going to get the planes there if we ain't got oil? We ain't got no fuel. Like, what are we doing? Like, this could get bad. So, it's something that you got to be looking at, because if we're shifting out of the dollar, then, all that tinfoil hat Bitcoin conversation that old Ray Bear's been having for a decade isn't so tinfoil hat anymore. Because the system that is holding, I'm not even going to say holding us down, but the system that is set up for us to not win is now being challenged from an exterior force. So now they're fighting on two fronts, because they got to keep us just above broke and paying taxes and some semblance of happy. But now they're also going to war with a system that doesn't want to deal with it, because, like, this system's been doing this to everybody, and, like, now people are starting to go, we just won't use that system. So, these are things that are not really put forward in the news here, or not paid attention to, or not getting the amount of screen time that it deserves. And it's actually something that's going to affect you way more than what somebody wore to an award show, or how modern women are treating you. It really is, because, like, if you ain't got a house and you sleeping outside in complete destitution, then none of those other things matter. Those conversations are no longer even valid, because you don't qualify for any of it. So, we're trying to run the bag up over here, and we're trying to be aware of what's going on. And this is the reason I tell everybody, you should have some Bitcoin. Because if this goes bedlam, as long as you can get on a plane and go somewhere else, you can set back up again. Like, this is going to be bad. So you've got that toppled with the Fed wanting 2.5 million people sitting at home with no job. They're going through a financial war that apparently they're just going to buy more guns for. These aren't good things. They're not good signs of us being able to battle through a fight, because it seems like we're trying to play checkers and everyone else is playing chess, and we know how that goes. But we've got to shore up our ships, which is why we are currently always going over building the financial foundation. If you are going to deal with a traditional bank, be working towards a private banking relationship. If your bank does not offer private banking services, get rid of that bank, because this isn't for the average brokey. We're not doing that because they're going to gut out average. This type of scenario here where we're going into a financial structure, a financial war, average is no longer good enough. It is not. These people are not going to survive this. Like, if you're aiming to be average, I am sorry, but like, that's being taken away. And it's nothing that you did. It's literally these systems at play, these countries at play, they are taking it away. Them being those who are at the top of said system, that are navigating and controlling these systems, that are warring with each other on a very high level, and we are the collateral in the middle. Which means that the only way that we come out of this in any type of situation where we can come out remotely unscathed is to be moving towards the them side of the system, which means that you got to be getting to the bag. We've got to be rich. We've got to be aspiring to be rich. We've got to be aspiring to have these banking relationships to where you're going to be getting the insider heads up just like all the other rich people are, so that you know how you need to be navigating with your money, how you need to be setting up your finances. If it's time to start looking at booking a flight and doing an extended one-way ticket stay somewhere else because stuff's about to get bad. If it's time to move out into the country and get yourself a swath of land with a big fence. I mean, we've got to be moving towards that. And so, with that said, we've got the updates on my... actually, we'll go ahead and go over to here because this will wind out the last part of the video. The updates on my financial journey. We've been busting down these checks. Obviously, at gross, we're at 20%, and then at take-home, we're at 35% savings. And I normally focus on the take-home, but I started looking at the gross just because everybody talks about gross, and I'm like, oh, well, I wonder where I'm at. And it's like, floating range, I'm at about 35% savings rate for what I get after taxes and stuff, and then it's 20. It's like 20, or actually, no, it's 30 and 25 because I don't count the savings that I save for my 401k or my HSA. So like that's off. So it's actually probably about 25% and 35%. There's like a 10% discrepancy because it's like the take home versus the gross, and I never count gross. So my personal goal is to be in the 40-45% range, and we are working towards that. Like, obviously, after I get some stuff paid off, like I've also, the other thing that I've done is I've dialed back paying off my floating debt. It's within the metric that I'd set out for myself. So we're dialing that back to increase savings, because going into a recession, I would rather have the available cash to deploy, because the savings, if I'm paying back in dollars, then, and the dollar is deflationary, then when I'm ready to to just knock those debts out, if they're still around, because I'm still paying them extra to pay them off faster, but I am not going, oh, gangbusters, we got to pay this off. Like, I have like my active card that I use, and I'll normally, which right now is my City Rewards card because I get 2%. That card gets paid off every month. The active card. The stuff that's floating are like other things. And so I'm not taking large chunks of money and paying them off. I'm going in and I'm paying off the minimum plus some extra to kind of have a small snowball going, but I'm not rushing, and I'm also not buying shit. Like, it's like, if it's not fully funded, I'm not buying it right now, basically. But the reason for that is I am taking that extra savings money and I'm putting it in Bitcoin. Like, that's me personally. Like, I just don't trust this system enough to where the extra savings I want in cash, but I am allocating another chunk of it towards getting the City account stacked up, because I've got $660 more before I hit my initial deductible range, and then I can open up the investment brokerage, which is a third part of my plan, which is where the bulk of my money that's going to go in this establishment is going to go. It's going to be in the market. So we have our minimums. We've got the 250, or yeah, the 250 in the in my checking account that I never touch. It's just sitting there, which is just stagnant money, just in case. And then I've got the 1,500 in the savings, which will be the backup, and then the rest of my goal, my march to 30K, is going to be in the market. And then it'll be fun because I'm building out my version of you'll get to see my version of a market portfolio, which it'll be kind of interesting. Probably not. I mean, stock market's pretty boring. I enjoy my crypto stuff way better. It's a little bit more exciting, but it'll show kind of my mindset on how I'm doing this, because having been in crypto for 10 years and been primarily focused on that, the way that I want my money to come in is a little bit different. So I'm going to have a pretty interesting setup when I roll out that portfolio. And that'll be a fun time deal that we can look at as we're building it out, because that is going to be a slow burn, because all the rest of that $30,000 has to come from that portfolio. So I got some ideas, and we're gonna see how those ideas play out. And it'll be fun. It'll be interesting. You guys will get to see my thought process on throwing out a portfolio, which will be interesting. So moving forward, we're going to look at the top bank rates today. So we're looking at savings rates. We've got Capital One's featured, which they pay for these spots. I'm pretty sure it's going to be roughly the same across the board. Capital One got 3.40% APY on their savings. And Marcus by Goldman Sachs has 3.75% APY. Now, I'm pretty sure, I don't know that Capital One has it, but I'm pretty sure that the Goldman Sachs realm, they do for sure have private banking services. Now, I don't know if they allow you to upgrade or what that, I'm not currently familiar with what that stair step looks like, or what their level of tiers, or how much you have to get into private banking. The reason I personally use Citibank even is because they have that $30,000 barrier, where if you've got $30,000, if you're doing $30,000 in business with them, they will move you. That's their demarcation point for when they're like, hey, you're doing something with yourself. We're going to move you over to the private banking and try to help you with that. And so that's kind of like their level 1 private banking deal. I'm not sure how these work, because before I started doing on my journey, I didn't realize that Citibank even offered for real, like real banking services. I was not aware of that because we don't have them here locally. And I didn't. So when I was looking, I was like, oh, they do private banking, and then they do private banking with a heavy focus on, if you're going somewhere else outside of the country, they're infrastructurally set up everywhere that you would want to be, or that I would want to be. So they can help you navigate into getting established in those areas. So that's the reason that I put my focus in on Citibank, because I am planning on being an international citizen. And that's part of my goals. So that's the banking establishment I'd want to be with. I mean, if I need to move, you know about me. I love firing banks, so I will. But at least right now, with my goals that I have for right now and projecting out forward for where I'm trying to end up, that seems to be the spot that I need to be in. I'm just going to have to run the numbers up hard, which is cool. You set your goals high, right? So I know Goldman Sachs has private banking services. I'm not sure if the Marcus Bank or whatever is hashed out and doesn't have access to that, or if they I mean, it would just be kind of insane for them to not have a way for you to move over if you had more money. Like, I just find that highly unlikely that that's the way they're navigating. So I'm gonna shoot for and say that this one definitely can get in. Capital One, you'd have to do some research. I'm not 100% sure how they navigate or if they have those services. So then we'll go down. We got special offer CDs. Marcus by Goldman Sachs has a 5% CD holding for 10 months with a minimum deposit of $500. So, you know, that's pretty interesting. And there's it's interesting because when you're in a high when they're raising those interest rates, that gives you a little bit more opportunity. But the thing that you got to understand is these are also opportunities that fall short of the interest that you would need to clear inflation. So one of the things that I could see being useful in regards to the CDs is to like it make it useful in the sense that you could lock that money up as you're stacking it to make a large entry into the market. So say for instance you go, I'm only going into the market in chunks of $5,000. And so every $500 you buy a CD, right? And then you keep stacking those CDs. So you go 10 months, that's locked up. You're not going to be at $5,000 in 10 months. So I'm going based on like a average to slightly above mid-range average American. You're not dropping $5,000 a clip per paycheck. Those of you who are rich, do you, boo boo? Y'all are ready because you're at a different point in the race. But like I'm talking right now with this specific strategy to my people that are working their way up. My people who are in a similar situation where they're looking at a paycheck similar to what I'm looking at a paycheck. It's just not $5,000 of extra money in there yet. So so you could take it and you could just stack those CDs, and like as long as you're timing it right, you roll them all into where like those CDs all spill out, and then you've got you do it until you're about to hit that 5,000 mark. So the only legwork that you have to do is like re-upping the CD, but you're getting 5% on it every time. So like you're stacking that 5% in there as well. Well, now when you hit the point to where you're ready to pull that money and move it over into the market, you've been making that consistent 5%, which is more than what you would make having it sitting in the savings this whole time. And like you're able to compound that in a 10-month fashion. So you could do something like that. Like it could be useful for that. It also gives you another product that you're using with the bank. So like maybe you just do so if I was going to do the Marcus thing and like you're trying to build up and they're like, you have to have X amount and you have to identify what this is, because they kind of make it easy for you to gamify this with yourself. So like for Citibank, I know that I need to have $30,000 in business with them before I can move over to the private banking side of their business. So one of the things I could do, actually, which could be kind of interesting, is to open a CD with them and just have it continually roll over and just continually stack that little CD just to have an additional product. So now instead of having a checking, a savings, and my brokerage, you've got a checking, a savings, a CD, and a brokerage, which is going, hey, I'm using all your products. I'm interested in doing business with you. Like I'm obviously building up at a steady clip of setting this money aside to establish this banking relationship, and I'm using all the things. So like I actually might do that just to like see if that helps. Like obviously they have a number amount where they're like, hey, we're doing business, you're able to do business in a private banking fashion, and I'm fine with that. But it never hurts to over deliver on establishing relationships. So, I might actually get one of these little CDs myself and just have that running and just keep rolling it over every 10 months or whatever. And see if that helps grease the wheels a little bit. I think I might do that. I might have to try that. We'll see. We will see. I don't know. The CD's real slow money for me, and it's kind of like I'm not very vain when it comes to my investing. I'm like, whatever I got, let's just put it in there and get it working and working harder. Because, I mean, I'm 80% sure my portfolio is going to do more than 5% in the markets. So that might not be advantageous for me personally, but like if you're saving and you do like making those big swings, this could be a play for you. With that said, we're going to close out on that note. It's a positive note. Gave a little bit of strategy. We're going to look at the rates, and we're going to check. I'm going to start checking these every week. Like I think we should know. We should know what we got options of, and anything that comes into my peer review that I could see as being a useful tool. I'm going to start sectioning into the end of the video. So the tools come at the end. We're gonna get through the ranting and raving first, then come the tools, and we will close out on that because like I don't want people just walking away without some sort of semblance on what's going on in the market, what options they have, what the best savings rates are looking like. So like if you're still getting 0.01% in your savings account, you need to get rid of that bank. Because like now we're gonna make sure that we know, because we gotta be moving with intention. And if the bank's not working for you, get them up out of there, fire them. They're your employee. Get them gone. All right, ways to support the channel. You can like, subscribe. Tell me about how you guys are moving on your journey, because I am $660 away from being able to open that investment account. And I'm frothing at the mouth for it because if anyone who knows me, A, knows I don't like holding dollars. B, knows I don't like keeping money in the bank. Like, it's just, this has been such a teeth grinding experience that it's really, really kind of tempered off a lot of the rough edges that I have about saving money, because like I would rather not save money than keep money in the bank, to be honest. Like that's my core nature. I like, if it's not in a vehicle working, I am upset. So I've got X amount of lazy employees right now, being dollars, that are doing nothing in the bank, and I just have to be fine with it. I have to look at them and I have to be like, okay, this is okay. This is okay. Because here in $660 more, I get to ramp it back up. I get to be in a market. It's not the crypto market, but at least it's a market, which is better than not a market. And hopefully at some point down the road, Citibank does what Fidelity just recently did and makes it so that I can buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. That would be awesome, Citibank. I would love that. I'm just saying. I would use that too. You get to 30K real quick with me. I'll be a private banker real fast. If you just let me have my Bitcoin and Ethereum, that would be nice. Just saying, putting that in the suggestion bucket. Ways to support the channel, though. First way to support the channel: hit the like button. If you are not subscribed and you are finding me randomly, hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure to turn the bell notification on to all. I don't normally post random stuff. I literally only post when I'm going live, if I'm live on a panel, episode drops. You want to make sure to get those. And I'm pretty sure that my channel is not, I mean, it's pretty nominal. It's just finance and crypto, so I highly doubt that I'm being shadow banned, so you'll get the notifications. But yeah, do that. In the comments, feedback, suggestions, conversations. I mean, if you go back on some of my old videos, me and the homie It's Party Lime, we've had whole conversations when I'm getting ready to roll out the door to work. And, it's been great. Also, we're trying a new time today for uploading because I was on the panel late last night. It's Party Lime saw me, and I went to sleep and I overslept, and I was going to just record this first thing in the morning, but I didn't get up at my normal time. So this is when I get up. Also, we got to shout out the new subs. And so, we want to give props to CBN's Tech Talks. I met him over on Sir Hale's channel. They kept me up past my bedtime having some real deep conversation. It was wonderful. So shout out and salute to Sir CBN's Tech Talks. Great channel, tech channel. Y'all should check it out. Also, shout outs to Feminine Melanin University. Props to you. Also, new subscribers. We love new subscribers. We appreciate new subscribers. We share this with your friends. We're not trying to get rich by ourselves over here. We're trying to give people the tools so that they can make the best out of where they're at. I'm not even telling you that you gotta maximize where you're at before you start looking at making some moves. Like, I'm a firm believer. I'm a foundation up person. I don't throw money at a problem. There comes a point where you got to increase your income, but you should maximize where you're at first. That's my opinion. Just saying. Because then it'll put you in a situation, because this is the issue, is if you're financially illiterate and you have bad practices financially, throwing money at that does not fix the problem. It just gives you more money to fumble. So if you've got your savings, like the situation I'm in right now, every single raise that I get goes straight into investments and savings because I don't need it. Because I've trained myself to where, like, I have my area that I navigate and I have my way of how I purchase things, to where when more income comes in, I'm going, cool, now I've got more capital to invest. So, like, when I run the bag up and go get more income, I'm doing something. It's 100% going towards something productive. And most people are just trying to rush to get more income first, and, like, you don't have the appropriate financial practices. And if you don't have that, there's no amount of income that's going to fix your situation, because you're going to continue to do the bad things that are keeping you broke now. Like, you might find out it's not even the income, it's the fact that, like, you spend your whole check on Jordans, or you go to eat out every single meal. And if you get more income, you're not going to go eat out every single meal at the same place. You're not going to buy the same Jordans. You're going to buy the more expensive ones, because that's what you do. So you've got to figure out where the holes in the ship are and plug the holes first. Otherwise, just adding more money just increases the size of the hole, and you will bleed out every dime that comes into your house. And I don't want that for you. So we're going to keep grilling in on these future financial strategies. We're going to keep our eye on what's going on both here and abroad, because money is a global game. You can live in a bubble, but just because you're in that bubble and you are ignorant of what's going on outside of said bubble, Americans, that doesn't mean that those things don't exist. And that doesn't mean that they don't affect you. It's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero with Future Financial Strategies on Thursday, March 30th. Signing out. You guys have a good one. We're going into the weekend. We will not be doing the live tonight because I have an engagement. I did it last night. For those of you who missed it, I'm sorry. For those of you who didn't miss it, thank you for tapping in with me on a different day. But we'll be back on our regular Thursday schedule next week. Till then, it's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero, and I'm signing out. Peace.